Hey, Sean. Can you take us through what went into the decision to move on from Chase Blackburn?
Yeah, really, very grateful and appreciative of the, contributions of Chase and, can't say enough good things about the human being, but it's as simple as it, really boils down to just thought this was best for the direction of our special teams. There's been some things that we have to be better in some critical moments. And I do feel good about the leadership that, will be had by Ben Kotwica, and we'll also bring in, somebody else to be able to help him in the meantime. And it'll be all hands on deck. So simply put, it was just what we felt like was best for the collective. And that's, sometimes the hard decisions that I'm tasked with, and always try to have the best intentions for our football team. And that was really as simple as it gets.
What gives you confidence that Ben will be able to improve that
I've worked
part
with
of it?
Ben before. I think, Ben has done a nice job. I know his capacity. I know the accountability. I know the core beliefs that he has. And, this late in the year, you're not naive to, you're going to keep a lot of the foundational things, but I think there's some things that we want to have reflected in our style of play and the way that we go about, just our overall approach that, I think will be, improved.
Can you tell us who will become, will someone else be joining the staff, or will someone be elevated to
Yeah, it'd be a
assist him?
guy named Matt Harper. We'll call him Harp. He's a guy that has some experience. He's been, he's got a bunch of NFL experience. He's been in places like Philadelphia, San Francisco. Ben has familiarity with him, coaching against him, and then knowing him. And so Matt Harper will be the guy.
And then finally, from me, can you give us any updates on Kevin Dotson and Devontae in terms of their availability for?
They're making good progress. I'm not going to make any, game status updates. But they're both making good progress. K Dot got his ankle pretty good. It'll be hard for him to make it this week. Devontae is making really good progress with his hamstring, and we'll see what that looks like as the week progresses.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Why
Nice.
did you feel like this was the moment to make that kind of change in operation?
Yeah, it's first of all, I am responsible for this, and I obviously didn't do a good enough job, with my responsibilities as a head coach. But what it really boiled down to, Adam, was the confidence I have in this football team, and where I think we can head, and where I think the areas of improvement are needed. And I think that through these 15 games, man, we've learned a lot. And I have so much confidence in this group. I'm so excited about the response from a disappointing outcome, but it doesn't mean that there was, that's an excellent football team we played the other night. I think there's been a lot of really good things that we've done, but at the end of the day, this was a departure. First and foremost, it's my responsibility for us to do better in that phase. And I do think that this is an opportunity that gives us, a chance to be able to use the last couple of weeks and then leading into the playoffs to be able to establish some of the things that we want. And it was unique because it offered us a couple days to really be able to kind of digest, think about it. Once we made that decision, I made that decision, right after the game, on Friday morning. I communicated that with Chase and wanted to be, timely when I did feel like that was the direction we were going to go, out of respect for him. And then it also gave Ben a few days to be able to get his ducks in a row, allow us to be able to connect and collaborate and connect with some of our guys about the direction that we want to head moving forward into Atlanta and into our prep this week.
And has there been a decision made on Rob or Tyler yet for this week?
They'll still need some time, so the answer is yes. They're not quite ready yet.
And on a different note, how would you describe the friendship between Jared Verse and Byron Young?
It's awesome. I mean, I think it's a cool relationship that those two have, where there's a lot of love, a lot of understanding, going through the same different, things, year in and year out, day in and day out with their rhythm and routine. But, I kind of jokingly have said they're like stepbrothers. They just, they love each other. They're poking at each other, but they bring out the best in one another. I think Joe does such a great job with the culture of that room. But two guys that have great personalities, that balance each other out, that have a lot of love for one another and really celebrate each other's successes, have fun joking with one another. It's a really just a cool relationship to observe. But the support that they have for one another and the authentic love and appreciation they have and the celebration for each other's successes, that's one of my favorite things that I see.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Sarah, Sean, you guys are playing a team on Monday that you made a deal with during the draft. You have their first for this or for next year. It seems like the deal has kind of worked out for you both, and the player they drafted and you guys having that pick. I know you guys want Matthew for as long as he wants to still be playing, but what does that extra pick do for you, either preparing for life after him or just continuing to build a competitive roster with him?
Yeah, that's what it does. I mean, there's that trade long ago was made in mind with, we had players that we liked that we felt like we could still get when we moved back, and we were able to do that with Terrance Ferguson, and they had somebody that they wanted, and so that worked out. That just gives us better draft capital, but there wasn't anything other than that. With the thought process in mind. And that doesn't, and I know that's not what you're asking, but that doesn't have any effect on, our approach to this game. We're going to do everything we can to play a really good football game, have a great week of preparation, and come out swinging on Monday night.
What does that, I guess you've built teams in different ways, you and Les and your group, obviously like trading away picks for players, but also now you have accumulated that draft capital. What does that do for you guys? I know you're not thinking about the offseason right now, but as you get ready, what does that do for you guys?
Yeah, it just gives us more ammo to be able to, upload to really upgrade the totality of your roster. I mean, and like we've joked about, like the FM picks, we never really felt that way. We've always looked at what are the different avenues to create the most competitive roster that you have with the different things that you can do, whether that be through the draft, free agency, undrafted free agency, re-signing your own, drafting and developing, so we look at all avenues to try to be able to shape out the most competitive roster. And every single year, there's different approaches based on, all right, what do you have in place? Who's under contract? Who's under a rookie contract? Who's up for extensions? And so there's multiple layers, but at the end of the day, where you're picking, it still matters who, it still is like, who is that person? That pick is valuable. Then you attach a name and then it becomes really valuable or less valuable depending upon how that thing sorts out. So that's really what it boils down to. And to be able to have, 2 first-round picks gives you flexibility and the ability to move around or identify players that you would maybe want that you're realistically in the range that they would be projected to go. So, way down the line for me to even think about that stuff right now, though.
How would you describe how Matthew's playing right now?
Outstanding.
What have you seen a different, the way he was playing very well at the end of last season too. Have you seen a difference in him, or is it just, it seems like he's in the conversation for MVP, something that wasn't the case last year. I guess, do you see any difference in him between the two seasons?
Yeah, I think it would minimize the body of work that he's had. He's played really well. He's played at what we would deem MVP level for us pretty consistently throughout his tenure with us. I know we just feel really fortunate to have him in command and running the show, and his competitiveness, his enjoyment for those moments, his ability to be at his best when his best is required, his ability to elevate his teammates, his overall ownership of what we're trying to get done with the intent, whether that be run or pass game or protection oriented. He's a total G, and he's been that G. I think it's just getting more recognized now, but this isn't new to us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Why? Hey, Sean. Just how would you describe Ben Kotwica as a coach?
I think urgent, accountable, very clear with regards to his communication style. And, I'm excited for him to be able to lead the charge.
And after these, sort of mini buys, first of all, do you feel more rested after what was a chaotic week for you? And have you seen that impact on the players in the past when you've had these little mini buys?
Yeah, you know what? I think what it is you maximize whatever that schedule is, and did get a chance to get caught up on rest. At the same time, as a competitor, you're ready to get back at it. And, I couldn't have been more excited to get back in the building and be around our players and start our preparation. Kind of works out for us the way that the week unfolds, that we'll get a bonus day today. Players will be off. We'll practice on Wednesday. We'll be able to give them off on Thursday for Christmas and then use Friday as an in-season Thursday, playing on Monday night. So I think the timing of the rest, letting guys' bodies turn over a little bit, and then also coinciding with the week of Christmas kind of works itself out. And, what we're going to do is we're going to maximize every single day that we have to continue to improve, to try to have the appropriate urgency and enjoyment and play our best ball as we move forward and Anytime, any place is what we're looking forward to.
Thank you.
You got it.
Brock, and then we finish up with Dennis.
Hi, Sean. So
Hey.
for the Falcons, of course, Bijan Robinson is such a dynamic threat, had almost 170 total yards last week. How does he impact going against him from a defense standpoint, and what do you see from him overall as a player?
Oh, he's unbelievable. I mean, it's a tremendous impact, and you have to be aware of him. But, I mean, they got great skill everywhere. Kirk does a great job running the show. Obviously, Bijan is so unique. I mean, very similar to Jahmyr Gibbs, and they can beat you in a variety of ways. Every time they touch the football, they're a threat to score. He's got such great feel, contact balance, spatial awareness, explosion. You name a trait that's desirable for a running back, this guy's checking the box. Oh, and by the way, you do the same thing for a receiver. He checks those boxes too. He's special, got a ton of respect. I've obviously watched him closely, just because of the relationship you have with a lot of coaches on that staff. I think Pitts is playing the best ball of his career. Drake London is a total stud. I think Algiers is an excellent running back too behind him. And they do an excellent job up front, being coordinated, really well coached with what they're trying to get done in both protection and in the run game. And so it's an excellent challenge, but Bijan is as good as it gets. And, we've got our hands full.
Earlier this year at the Combine, Raheem Morris, of course, a lot of familiarity there, stated that he believed Chris Shula would be a head coach in 2026. For you, what's it like to see a person on your tree talk about a guy that could potentially add a branch to that?
I'm happy for, whether it's Raheem, whether it's Kevin O'Connell, like you name it, like Liam. I mean, I'm so happy for all these guys. I was so fortunate to be able to get an opportunity to be in this role. I don't take it for granted. It's a real blessing. And I've been really even more fortunate to be around really special coaches that have made this place special. And Chris is certainly one of them. We got a handful of guys that are on our current staff that I think have all the makings and all the traits and characteristics you're looking for guys to be really good head coaches and to be able to lead. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy being able to work with him and continue to watch him do a great job leading our defense. And if those things come to fruition, nobody would be happier for those guys, whether it be Chris or some of the other people that I think will get some opportunities. But it's a special thing. And one of the things that I think you're as happy or proud of, if you will, is watching the success that people have had from doing a phenomenal job and making a tremendous impact on me and our building, and then getting an opportunity to be able to, go run the show, in other places and then go shine as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dennis.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. What has allowed your tight ends to be so effective in the red zone this season?
Well, I think overall execution, I think Matthew's done a great job. And then I think, just their ability to be able to contribute in both phases. You can create some run pass conflicts. But really, the players deserve a ton of credit. Whether it's Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen. It's cool to see Terrance Ferguson make some plays the other night. And so, just really proud of those guys. Scooter Huff does a great job with that room as a whole, and Matthew running the show. So, just overall, body of work, the players, and then just their consistency in terms of their approach and their ability to execute in those critical moments, which is, what the red zone entails.
Follow up, how would you describe Terrance's growth this season?
I think it's been steady, and I think it's been, something that you're really excited about how bright his future is, because all he's doing is getting better. He's so coachable. He's secure enough to be able to acknowledge the areas that he can improve. I think he's got great examples of these veterans around him of being able to see what it looks like to do right. And then, and he's getting a bunch of experience. You guys have heard me say it all the time. Repetition is the mother of learning. He's playing a lot of meaningful snaps in some big time games and some big time atmospheres. That's only going to continue to serve him well. And I think the best is yet to come for him, like I've talked to you guys about.
Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.